Your Honor, Dora Bakoyannis, thank you very much for your lecture this morning, and thank you for joining us here at ICD for the Berlin International Economic Congress. And just in continuation for your lecture that you just delivered this morning, we'd like to ask you some questions like that are part of the lecture and also like that are related to cultural diplomacy and economic situations in the region and at the international level. So I'm going to give the floor to my colleague who's going to ask you the first question, and then I'll
So, dear Bakoyannis, what does cultural diplomacy means to you?
To me, it means a lot. I think it's extremely important, and people start to realize it just in the last, I would say, 20 years. But cultural diplomacy existed always, even during the time of the Olympic Games.
Yes.
That's how they started. They started in agreeing on a value system, in agreeing on their cultural diversification. And there were two key words: knowledge and respect. And of course the third, tolerance. So if you know the culture of the other, if you respect the culture of the other, then you can start understanding, solving problems, or making business. So it's, in my opinion, the basis. That's why I spoke also about the mutual respect China and Greece have for each other. And you don't find it only in the academic world. You don't find it only in the high business cycles. You find it on the street, either in Beijing or in Athens.
That's true.
Then I have a question about what do you think the role of cultural diplomacy is in regional and European business negotiations?
I think it is very important. Europe has made a lot of steps forward. When I was your age and I lived in Paris, the Germans were still called Bosch, which is an insult. In the years that have passed, things have radically changed. So we have a common culture in Europe, and we understand our identity as being part of this common culture. But Europeans versus other countries, for example, the Muslim world, it's very important to really know what you are talking about. Let me give you another example to make it concrete. You remember when there were these caricatures of the Prophet Muhammad
In Denmark.
And they were taken over in the Netherlands, etc. In my country, we have the worst press of the world, but they never printed it. Out of an instinct of respect towards the Muslim culture. So that's what I mean. We have to understand each other if we want to be successful, either in political negotiations or in business negotiations.
Oh, thank you very much. I really liked what you just said about cultural diplomacy used to be used like a long time ago, either to solve problems or to do business. And in that same line of thinking, I would like to ask you something about business. Do you think that international business cooperation nowadays still maintain the same characteristics it used to have a long time ago, or even a few years ago, a few decades ago? And if it has changed, in what way it has actually changed?
The world changes radically every day. Just imagine 7 years ago you did not have the iPhone.
That's true.
It didn't exist. Just imagine how your life is changed because of this phone. The interconnection you have without even having to pay. Because at the end of the day, in my mind, the internet is the most socialistic invention after Christ's religion. There is no other. You can be, if you have a Wi-Fi, you can get the knowledge of the world for you.
That's
you can
true.
do business with China, with South America, with South Africa, but it's sitting in your room. So the world changes. Of course, the crisis teaches us some lessons. But I think the main lesson the crisis teaches us is that if we hold back to yesterday's ideas, we are lost. We have to adapt. We have to be able to adapt quickly to the new realities.
Oh, thank you. And now I'm gonna move with you to the nation branding topic and tourism. Since in your lecture today you talked about tourism and sustainable economic growth as a tool, of course. So could you please further elaborate on what are the underlying prerequisites for a sustainable economic growth in today's globalized, interconnected, and challenging world?
Well, they are. If we are talking about tourism, it is extremely important that you make your advantages bigger, and that's why I used the example of Greece. Yes, in Greece we have sun, we have the most wonderful coasts, we have a good infrastructure, but that's not enough anymore. What is enough is exactly what we should do is exactly to adapt. And there are new needs. And these new needs which the people who travel have, we have to meet them all year around. If they are Russians who want to visit the monasteries because they are very religious people, if there are young generations who want to attend a concert which is on the beach, which they cannot do when they are in uni. There are many, many different ways, so that there is a real and serious increase of the touristic season, and on the other side, also that the people become experts. And it's very important that the young generation has jobs in which they can really stay for a while at least.
Sustainable, yeah. My last question to you, Your Honor, as a former minister of Greece, where do you see the strength of the European economic growth? And how would you compare the European economic model to other models like the American or since you talked about the Islamic world, about the Middle Eastern economic model, or the Asian one, since you talked in your lecture about China?
We have to combine a democratic system with a social net plus a vibrant economy. This is not easy because Europe does not want to give up her social security net. But on the other side, we have to compete.
That's true.
Words like liberal or free economy or not are démodé. The problem is if you have a competitive economy, that's it. How do you have this competitive economy? That's what we are after today. So yes, we need to adapt more. We need a labor market which will be more flexible and will adapt more to the needs. But the knowledge in Europe is very, very big. And one should never underestimate.
Compared to what?
Compared to all the countries we are talking about, compared to the United States.
Asia, for example.
Asia too. In numbers, the young Europeans are, in average, much, much more educated. And they are Europe's strength for the future.
Thank you. Yeah.
In your very engaging lecture, you have given the example of Greece for emphasizing things that have been done successfully and challenges that have to be met for the future. So my question would be, what measures is Greece undertaking in order to meet the ambitious European Union's climate and energy targets? If there are measures in this sense, or what is the situation?
There are a lot of measures taken. First of all, there are the European policies, which means that the targets are very clear, the 2020 targets. On the other side, we are privileged because we have an abundance in sun and in wind. So, in comparison to other countries, we are better off. E-energy in Greece is easier to produce than in other countries. We have 320 days of sunshine. So it is a little bit a difference to Finland. So we are doing a lot, and what we want now is also to make also some small industries which would be specialized in e-energy products.
I understand. Thank you very much for your time. It was an honor and privilege to have you with us.
Thank you very
today.
much. May I congratulate you?
Oh, thank you.
It's always very good to see young people so engaged.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Και εμείς οι δύο. Στο τέλος.